are lots of little hacks that we sometimes use to remember things, right? We tie strings around our fingers, we set phone reminders, we write notes on the back of our hands before they wash off. We do all sorts of things to help us remember birthdays, passwords, appointments. But not all remembering is created equal. Some things are worth forgetting. Other things, they're worth remembering every single day. This week, we're in the first half of Hebrews 10, a passage that gets to the heart of the one thing we should remember and why. For chapters now, Hebrews has been unpacking the priesthood of Jesus. He's the great high priest who brings in a new and better covenant. Last week, his blood. This week, his body. The body of Christ offered once for all. And so, what were the reminders in the Old Covenant that prepared people for the coming of Jesus? Under the Old Covenant, Israel had sacrifices. Bulls and goats were slaughtered. Blood was sprinkled. Priests stood day after day offering the same sacrifices again and again. But those sacrifices could never perfect the worshippers. They could never fully cleanse the conscience. They could never permanently deal with sin. In Hebrews chapter 10, verse 3, it says, "But in these sacrifices there is a reminder of sins every year. Year after year, sin is still here. You've fallen short again. The problem hasn't been solved." They were a constant reminder that things were not okay. The sacrificial system was a gracious gift from God, but it was designed to make the worshipper wait, to make you long for something better. And then Jesus came. Look at verse 5, where Psalm 40 is quoted about Jesus. Consequently, when Christ came into the world, he said, "Sacrifices and offerings you have not desired, but a body have you prepared for me." Jesus is the only one who walked in perfect obedience, the only body not riddled with sin, and that perfect body was offered as a sacrifice once for all. And look at the result of that one sacrifice. In verse 10, "And by that will we have been sanctified through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once for all." And then verse 12, "But when Christ had offered for all time a single sacrifice for sins, he sat down at the right hand of God." And then verse 14, "For by a single offering he has perfected for all time those who are being sanctified." The old system, standing, repetition year after year. The new reality, seated, finished, once for all. Jesus dealt with sin permanently. His work is done, and the result? Those who belong to Jesus are sanctified, perfected, and made holy through his once for all sacrifice. Here's the shift. Under the old covenant, you've sinned, and the problem isn't solved yet. Under the new covenant, you've sinned, but Christ has come. His body was given, his blood was shed, and you are forgiven. So what do we remember now? We remember what God has chosen to forget. Look at verse 17. And then he adds, "I will remember their sins and their lawless deeds no more." God forgets your sin. God remembers it no more. Not because he has a bad memory, but because Christ's sacrifice worked. The good news is that you don't need another sacrifice. Through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once for all, you can stand in the presence of a holy God right now. That's the one thing you need to remember. Not your sin without a solution, but Christ's body given, his work finished, sins forgotten, your forgiveness secured. Jesus paid it all. It is finished. And we are perfected in him.